Hello and welcome to another episode from the Water's Edge. And today you catch up with us down Barford Lakes and we're actually fishing Railway Lake. Now this is going to be the summer edition of the Water's Edge Trophy. We've already done a couple of these and they've been great fun, loads of banter on the bank and really enjoyable days. And actually for me, all my serious competition fishing is over now. I'm really looking forward to this one. I haven't done great on the other two, I think I've just been out of the frame. This one's perhaps a bit more my style. Hopefully there'll be some tip work and stuff like that, but we'll talk to you about how we're going to fish it when we get to the peg, because obviously we don't know where we've drawn yet. But just in general, this is going to be loads of excitement, hopefully, really good banter between everyone, and hopefully this time we're going to make it into the frame or better, but you never know. So we're going to get ourselves sorted, we'll get the draw organised, and then we'll catch up with you on the peg and we'll explain what's going to happen throughout the day. Okay, so we're all set up on the peg. We have got a couple of minutes before the start, so it's a good point for me to talk you through. Now, unfortunately, I've drawn peg 38, which, if I'm honest, it potentially isn't the peg that I want to draw or the area that I want it to be, but you generally do never know in fishing, so it's pointless giving up. You've got to go from the start and try and make the best out of what you've been given. That's the whole thing with match fishing, is get the best out of the peg that you've drawn. If I had to say an area, unfortunately, probably the two people who've won the previous trophies that we've fished, Jack and my brother, have drawn really well. And perhaps Wayne, end peg down the corner, has also got an option. But we don't know, do we? Like I said, it's early days. We haven't even started. So we'll hopefully see what goes on throughout the day. But we'll talk you through my match. And I'm going to try and keep it relatively simple, but give myself a few options. So I think, well, initially when I got here, I had in my head, because it generally works here, is a method or a feeder of some description to the island is going to be perhaps 80% of my fishing time. But since I've turned up, I've seen a load of fish. I've got an area to my left, and they're sort of rubbing against the rope. So potentially I might start on there. I don't even know. We've got like a minute before the start, and I don't know what I'm going to start on. But it's either going to be the method feeder or a little waggler near that rope, just because of the amount of fish. I think, like I said, a vast percent of my time will perhaps be on that method. And then failing that, I've got a shorter line, which is about 5 or 6 metres. I'm going to fish cat meat on that line. And I've got a nice margin to my right. I've got a couple of empty pegs till the next person. Everyone's got a bit of space. So if that kicks off later, potentially there's some bigger fish to be had down there. But like, as far as fishing here go, it's a toss-up between if you fish for F1s or try and catch some bigger fish, because there's a real sort of mixture of size of fish. You can't really do both. Like you tend to catch one or the other. So we'll see what we've got in front of us. You don't know until you start fishing, do you? That's the beauty about fishing. But that's what I'm going to do. So potentially, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. I could do more. I have got a shallow rig set up as well. So potentially 5 different options for today. But like, if you do any more, you really do complicate it. Pick something you know that works and see if that works throughout the day. And then you can always mould it if someone else is catching. I can't really see anyone, which is a little bit unfortunate, because hopefully we're going to have to guess what's going on and hopefully trust that people are doing what they say. But that's the start. So all in, everyone! So yeah, the start is underway. I'm going to start on the waggler. I've decided, like I said, there's so many fish there, I think that's the option. So let's give it a go. You never know, and we'll report back to you as soon as we start catching, or as soon as we make a confirmed decision of what we're going to concentrate on. Well, we found the first fishing session. I started on the waggler like I said I was going to, but it just didn't happen. And almost as if as soon as I fed bait, I've not seen another fish in that area. So I don't know if perhaps what I should have done is just chuck the waggler and see if they'd take without any bait. But we've switched over to the method. Like I said, I think that's going to be the vast majority of the fishing here where we are. We're not in the best of areas. I know Robert to my left has lost one, unfortunately, but there's some fish about. Like, I hadn't had any, this is my second chart on here now, and I hadn't had any liners at all. But when I hooked this fish, I've seen perhaps 3 or 4 other fish spook out with it. So it's, I mean, you're only fishing like a foot of water, and it amazes me every time how you can't get liners when there's clearly fish there. It's it's one of those fishing myths, I guess, that I don't know the answer to. If anyone can tell me, let me know. But you just expect to see signs of fish in that shallow water, but the tip's gone round and it's a start. I know Chris has had a walk with the camera. David Sickmore's had what looked like a really big fish, and when he came back, my brother had a couple. I think Jack had one down the edge. So there's some fish coming out at least, but hopefully we'll just coach this one in. Well, there we are, we're off the mark, and potentially good news, it's not an F1. Like I said, you seem to catch one or the other. I mean, he's not the biggest fish in here by any means. We'll hold him up for you, but that is a start. What is he? Probably, we do not want to drop him. He's probably £3, perhaps, might be a touch bigger, but second chuck, we can't complain about that. So we'll get him slipped out. I'm going to stay on the method. I think that's going to potentially get a concentration of at least an hour now of the next few chucks, and hopefully we can put a flow of them together, because yeah, if we can keep going like that, we'd have a chance. We've been fishing, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, but I've probably wasted, well, not wasted because obviously you've got to try it, but I've had probably 15 minutes of that on the waggler. So we'll persevere with this for a bit. 6mm pellet I've gone with, and just nipping some pellets around the feeder, so nothing complicated. I'm clipping up to the island. Tends to just be where they are, and if you can plug away at that and keep them coming, you can get a good day. But they sometimes do shy off it, so we want to try and catch them early while we can. Well, we're a little way in now. The weather has got nice for us. I've had to put the glasses on. The sun's out, but for me, I think we knew a little bit when I drew it. The fishing just hasn't got started. I've come off the I've come off the tip rod. No more bites at all on that, and I've now just fishing about 6 meters on cat meat. I've fed on here. I've fed it with a big pot with a mixture of fishery pellets. You have to use the Barford pellets here, so we've got a mixture of those and the cat meat. I've fed it in a big pot to hopefully try and encourage something to go down to the bottom and have a feed, but at the moment it just isn't happening. Like I said, it's not great fishing conditions, but I think there is fish being caught down the other end. Chris has had a wander while it's been quiet up here, and I think Jack's having a few, my brother, Dave, Glenn, basically down the other end, which we kind of knew that's where the fish were going to be, and perhaps it was going to get one from. Here we're going to carry on plugging away. I've fed a big cup down my edge as well, and I might be forced into going down there earlier than I really wanted to, because I'd like to let them settle on there. But I think Wayne's had a few down his edge, which it's quite early to be going down there, but I mean, if the fish turn up, the weather's hot, they're going to be perhaps going into that shallow water. So I'll have a look down there in a moment if nothing else continues to happen. But yeah, like, I think what they're catching on down there is what I'm fishing down here. Someone's catching down the edge, a couple of people catching on the tip. So they're doing what we're doing. It's just being in the right area, as you have to draw where the fish are. I think Robert to my left, he's struggling like me. Bob to my right, he's had the odd one, but like this area we're in has been a struggle, I must admit. Well, I've managed to hook one on the cat meat line. I've had one other little tiny F1 when Chris was off seeing what was happening elsewhere. But yeah, it's becoming hard to make anything work. I'm really trying just to pick the odd bite up when I can. I don't think we're going to put any massive run of fish together here, but we're having the odd bite. So there we are, another F1. It's funny, this is one of the only lakes I know, or that I fish. There's probably loads across the country, but one of the only ones I know that fish. When you fish cat meat, you expect it to be the big fish, but you do seem to catch the smaller F1s here on it. They absolutely love it. They get their heads right down on some days. It's not been like that today, but you can have some good days on it, on fish that you perhaps don't expect to catch on it sometimes. Normally you'd associate little F1s with small baits being really finesse, and you put a big pot of cat meat in expecting a big one, and these little fellas gobble it up. He's not gonna play ball to be held up at all, is he? But it's another fish in the net. We'll keep plodding away. I'll probably put another pot of cat meat out there and see if we can't get ourselves another one. We're about halfway through now. I've managed to pick up a couple more F1s, but it is very, very slow going. They're definitely catching better down the arm where we expected perhaps the winner to come from. I can't see who's doing what, but Chris has had a little wander, and I think 3 or 4 people are admitting to 10 fish, so they're perhaps the ones who are winning at the moment. Wayne has now hooked another one on the end, so he's had a few. As far as what they're doing, I think they're switching pretty much between method and pole. There's a few different people catching on a couple of different things, one down the edge, one on the tip. So it's not really any particular method that's working, it's just you got to be where they are. I'm going to give this a little longer because we've picked, I think we've had 3 or 4 on this now. So we've picked a couple of fish up on this short line, and I've just put another big cup down the edge. So I'm going to perhaps give this, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes longer, and then we'll have a go down the edge, because I think we're going to need a mad dash at the end to compete anywhere. Perhaps some bigger fish down the edge might get us out of jail if they turn up, but I'm a bit optimistic if they will from what's been going on. But you never know, we're plugging away. A few more minutes on this, we'll have a look down the edge. If not, perhaps chuck the tip out again. Well, I'll drop down the edge to see if anything's happening down there. I've not had a bite. It's not been much more to report, to be honest with you. I've just seen, Chris has just ran down and seen Wayne have an absolute monster on the feeder rod. So he's probably caught more than me in one fish. He just said he's double his own weight probably. And sometimes they're the fish you need to get out of jail. Unfortunately, I've had, 5 or 6 fish today. Robert's now hooked one to my left. And I've not had anything big. And them get out of jail sort of 10-pounders, they're a massive help. Like I said, I've got 5 F1s that probably don't weigh 10 pound between them, and you can't really do anything about that. You can't make anything pick your hook bait up, you just catch what's there. But I'm hoping this is what you expect down the edge is bigger fish. Wayne's caught it against that margin, but there's no need to say that the bigger fish, as and usually in a match later on, we've probably got an hour and a half left, you can catch bigger fish down the edge. So I've gone pretty heavy. I've gone 0.19 the rig is down there, big strong hook. I'm fishing a bunch of dead reds on the hook, and I've cupped in 2 big pots of dry ground bait. Well, not dry, but it's mixed up, but I've not nipped it together, with some maggots as well. It's my favourite way of fishing down the edge. It wins a lot of matches across the country, but the fish do have to be there for it to work. So we'll give this a little while. If not, we'll plod away with something else. We've got an hour and a bit to go. Although Wayne's winning this bit, I feel the straight down there, or the bowl at the end, is definitely what it looks like is where the winner's going to come from. Nothing happened down the edge there, so we gave up on that, refed it again with a couple of more big pots. But as I said, it's getting to that last hour where you expect fish to be coming in now. I don't know, perhaps with me talking, the cameras here, they don't want to come to my edge, so I chuck the tip back out over to the other side. And I mean, realistically, all you're doing is fishing the margin on the other side, but it's gone round really quick, to be honest. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating that they won't come down there, because obviously you'd catch so much quicker than you do over the far side. But we'll get him in, we'll show him to you. Well, there we are. He come attached in with someone's pole rig I've picked up over the far side, but at least he's free of that now. And yeah, nice little fish. He's not going to break any records. He's probably not going to win me anything, but all the same, we're catching. And it is a lovely day to be out. Like I said, it's not all about winning. There's not much competition. There's not much pressure on this one. all the big stuff's over, and these matches, they're about coming out and enjoying them, showing you guys what I do, what my plan is, how you sort of, or how I talk through a match, and what the thought process is, because obviously there's never a right or a wrong answer. It changes every time. It changes throughout the match as well. So hopefully, like, the live thought process helps anyone getting into it. But we've got a little while left. We're going to go back out on the method. I seem to have attracted a family of geese, so I'm not sure how that's going to go for this cast. Well, I've managed to find another one on the method, but it has been really, really frustrating. Like, I can't explain to you. There's tails up where I'm casting my method feeder, and I just cannot get a bite. Well, I mean, like, you'd expect to catch within 10 seconds looking at it, but it's taking 3 or 4 chucks, sometimes even more, like half an hour to get a bite in a situation where you can see 3 or 4 tails, 5 tails in your swim. So I'm not the only one. A few people are saying it, and if anyone knows the answer to how you can get a bite to that when it's like that, let me know, because it happens all the while on this lake. Jack fished it yesterday and he said exactly the same. He said at some point he's counted 10 tails up in his peg and he's not getting a line or a bite, and it's unreal. I can't explain it. But we've got about 10 minutes left. It's gone pretty quiet down the arm from what I can tell. Chris has had a wander. We've had 40 pound has been admitted to by my brother at the end. He's in the bowl. And I think Wayne has admitted to 50 pound, and they're possibly the 2 biggest weights that have been admitted to. Now, I know everyone lies, so I'm sure there's going to be more than that, but that's what we've heard of, and I would say that's what is being competitive at the moment. But that's a proper fish. Let's see if I can hold him up. I don't want to stay out too long, because like I said, we've got 10 minutes. There's tails up in the swim. I know I said it's frustrating. I'd like to try and get one more bite, but I've tried all my hook baits. I've tried absolutely everything, so let us know if you know how to get around that. But there we are. These are the ones you want, really. Let's quickly hold them up. If you can catch a few of them, you can put a real weight together. Right in the face. I'm not even going to risk it. I'm going to put him back. I'll get another method out there, but that's disgusting. But 5 or 10 minutes and we'll be calling that whistle and we'll see who's won it. I would say, from what people are admitting, it's going to be Wayne, but you never know. Come on then, right, so we'll pay the pounds out that I owe first, because I know everyone's keen for this one. Come on, Dave.
Really? It was never
£3.
It was never about the money.
Bob.
Pleasure doing business with you. Thank you very much.
Fish.
The old one.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, I dropped yours, sorry.
Cost me now.
Right, that's it. That's the painful bit. I owe you £1 as well. Hold on.
Throw it in the lake.
How many pounds did I have here?
You owe me £1 and all.
Right, hang on.
You forgot, because it always come my way.
Surely you
Cheers,
had a
then.
pound with him
They are,
as well,
Jack.
being in the shop.
Right, that is out of the way. That's cost me a lot. Right, in third is my brother, Macro, 56.10.
All
got
up.
the money.
One on, Boise.
Cheers, thank you.
In second was Wayne, 63.12. Bob's got the money, go on.
Thank you, Bob.
And in first and winning the trophy is Lee with 76.7. Well done, Lee.
Come on.
Well done, Lee.
Well done, mate. Good on.
There you go. Lovely old job.
Well done. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. Just like to remind you, what was it you said when he pulled up this morning?
What did he say?
I said he's the worst angle.
Worst day. What's happened?
Well done, Lee. That's
Underrated.
good.
You're obviously a good judge of character,
I am,
aren't you?
Well, that's it. We're packed away, and another expensive day for me. I've had to hand over a lot of pounds there. Everyone wants to get a crack at me on camera, and yeah, fair play to them. They beat me hands down. I took a few pounds off them last time, but all's fair in fishing. Like I said, you can't win them all, and I actually haven't won any of them yet. We've done 3 of these matches, but I guess that must make them believable. We could have easily waited till I win one before it goes on edit, but that's not what match fishing's about. And if I was to try and put that into perspective of anyone trying to get into match fishing, sometimes it is out of your hands from where you drew. I knew that where I was today, I had no chance of winning. And it's just one of those things. I've sat and watched yesterday, Fishermania, and this is probably will tell you and explain a bit better. They're the best anglers in the country, qualified for the biggest match perhaps of the year. I've been trying myself and failed as well. But 2 names in particular, Will Raisin and Lee Kerry, both fish for England, both probably in the top 3 of the best anglers sitting on that lake. And those 2 have finished really low, purely because of the area that they drew. And yeah, like I said, you can't get much better than they are. You just have to catch what's in front of you. So sometimes match fishing can be very frustrating for anyone, no matter how good you are, no matter how much you prepare. You can't catch what isn't there. So if you're into match fishing or you're getting into it and you're having a bad run, don't worry about it. Get out there and enjoy it, because at the end of the day, I mean, today I've had a brilliant day today. I've had loads of abuse hurled at me. It might sound funny that that's a brilliant day, but it is, you know what I mean? I go out there, I abuse people, I throw loads of comments at them. I've got to expect them back. But as long as you're enjoying your fishing, it really doesn't matter. As far as today went, with tactic-wise, the people who've won it have just caught on the same stuff that I've done. They've just perhaps been in slightly better areas. The only thing I did learn, and I said at the end there, is I was getting so many tails up and I couldn't get a bite. Well, finally, in the last quarter of an hour, I've scaled down a lot lighter in line, smaller hooks, and I've put just 2 maggots on, and I've had 3 fish perhaps in 20 minutes. So I don't know, was it just that magical time that match fishing is always everyone catches in the last little bit, or was it the fact that they were just filter feeding through the ground bait and micro pellets, and the 6mm pellet I originally had on the hook was perhaps too big? So that's perhaps the one thing I've learnt. Next time I come here, I'll start on a smaller bait, and like I said, as long as you're improving, that everything you're doing is worthwhile. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I will eventually, we'll do some more of these. We've got the winter one next. Eventually, I promise you I'll win one, or at least frame in one. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed a brilliant day, and we'll see you again on the next one.
I'm gonna put a real wide together.
Right in the face.